Have you ever been on a ride and come up to a spot that looked just like this and you felt like your only option was to get off the bike and walk to the top? In today's video, we're going to work on a technique that's going to make it so you can ride up really difficult sections of trail just like this. And the best part is you can actually practice it on flat ground so that you've got it ready so that the next time you find a place like this, you're able to ride up it. Now, I'm in one of my favorite trail systems in Northern California. This place is called Skeggs, and the area behind me right here is appropriately named the Wall. And in today's video, I'm gonna ride up the wall, and then I'm gonna show you how we ride stuff just like this and how you can practice it at home. My name is Aaron. Welcome to Super Rider. On this channel, we break down complex bike skills into easy to learn techniques that you can quickly apply to your riding. The best part about mountain bike skills is that there are only a handful of basic things that you need to learn that will help you build up your confidence and control on two wheels. And then from there, you can just add on to them. For example, while I'm riding up a steep trail in this video, I'm utilizing a basic skill called a two-wheel hop. And then I add a little twist to the technique to get that forward movement up the wall. So that's what we'll do today. We're gonna dive into the two-wheel hop, and then I'm gonna show you how to develop the skill in a way that you can use on the trail to unlock even the most challenging sections. Just a quick note on bike setup before we kick off this one. Make sure that your seat is dropped down and out of the way before you start practicing. I also like to run my hands as far out on the handlebars as possible to give me maximum control over not only the handlebars, but the brakes as well. You've probably seen someone with clipless pedals do this technique before, but in today's video, I'm going to teach you the flat pedal method. Even if you run clipless pedals, I think it's worthwhile to learn this version of the skill so you put less stress on the spring mechanism inside your pedals. Lastly, this skill will work with any style of bike, 27.5 or 29, hardtail or full suspension. You can even do this on an e-bike if you want. Before we dive directly into lifting the bike off the ground, there's likely one area that is holding you back from learning the two-wheel hop. If you're watching this video, you might not understand how to get the entire bike, specifically the back wheel, to come along for the ride. This is where the pedal scoop technique comes in handy. The pedal scoop is how we get a flat pedal to attach to our foot, using pressure to lock it in, which brings the back wheel up into the air. For this specific technique, you need to point your toes down, then push back and up on the pedal, making a scooping motion. Your momentum on the bike is moving forward, so pushing back and up will redirect the back wheel momentum off the ground. Test this out by standing next to the bike and putting one foot on the back pedal, then doing a pedal scoop motion while you stand on flat ground. This is a great way to get the feeling for this technique, and you can get some repetition at this point to start building up your muscle memory. I do think that the back pedal ends up doing most of the work, but ideally both pedals are making that same movement to give you the maximum power with the back wheel lift. To lock in the pedal scoop and back wheel lift, hop back on the bike and roll along slowly with your weight relatively far forward on the bike. This will make the back wheel as light as it can be, and then you can start lifting the back wheel off the ground using your pedal scoop technique. No brakes required here. Just roll slow and kick that back wheel up in the air. Try to do a bunch in a row as you ride slow, and keep doing this until you can lift the back wheel off the ground on command. It might take a little while to completely lock it in, but that's exactly why we say practice makes progress. Once you're feeling confident getting the back wheel off the ground, we can practice the two-wheel hop. Some people refer to this technique as the English hop, and it used to be called the spud hop when people did it with clipless pedals back in the day. The German translation of this technique is pretty funny too. Hopefully a German speaker can share that name in the comments. To execute a basic two-wheel hop, you need to think about your body like a spring. Your body crouches down into the center of the bike, bending your elbows and knees to coil up the spring. As you pop out of the bike, you bring your bike straight up with you, first extending your body upward to create momentum, then bending your elbows and knees again to bring the wheels up off the ground. As you start to learn this skill, don't worry about the height of the wheels off the ground, just make sure that it's happening. We'll get to the bigger hops later in this video. To help you practice this skill and to build some balance into the mix, I suggest starting off at a slow roll, then popping both wheels off the ground. Stay centered and keep your bike level as you lift off, then land in full control. Once you get the first hop done, try to do a few hops in a row to build repetition into the mix. You can also challenge yourself by slowing to an almost stop and continuing to hop. The important thing about repetition here is that your body's going to figure out how to become efficient with this movement. When people first learn the two-wheel hop, they're exhausted after a few hops, but as your body gets more efficient with the movement, you'll be able to hop quite a bit more, which is what you'll need when you're tackling a big hill like I did in the beginning of this video. One other way to push your progression with the skill is to try for a big hop where you exaggerate your movement as much as you possibly can. I find that when you're learning new skills, pushing past the usual limit will help you explore the motion a lot easier than going too small with it. One thing that's extremely helpful is setting up a phone and filming my riding. That way I can see if my body is doing what I think it should be doing. In most cases, you're not moving around nearly as much as you think you are, so the video from your phone is helpful for spotting your mistakes quickly. And best case, if you nail it, you've now got a video clip to share on your Instagram. So now that we have the basics of the two-wheel hop figured out, it's time to put it to work. The principal element here is balance, and we add balance movement to it by incorporating some drills to teach us how to recenter the bike where we want it to go. All of the stuff we're working on from here on out will build on that basic two-wheel hop technique, and each drill is going to help you learn it even better. So the only real requirement to continue is being able to get both tires off the ground with some level of control. This first drill is actually the first thing I started practicing on my bike, and I'm excited to share it with you. Up until now, we've done rolling hops, and the rolling part helped us maintain balance. Now we're going to try some static hops, meaning that the brakes are locked up, and we'll use our hops to maintain our balance. Start by slowing down to a complete stop and locking up both your front and back brakes. Before you lose your balance, drop into the bike and then give it a quick hop. When you land, hold your balance as long as you can, then hop again to regain your balance. A fun game to play here is to try to get 10 hops before you put your foot down. It sounds easy, but if you're just learning this, 10 hops will be exhausting. This drill is cool because not only will you be practicing your hops, but you'll also be practicing stabilization using your body between the hops. Next, find a line on the ground and roll up next to it. Lock both brakes and try to hop sideways over the line, then hop back to where you started. I suggest the same approach you took on the first drill, where you hop, hold your balance, then hop back. To get the bike moving, I like to start by shifting my body in the direction I want to go as I spring out of the bike, and then I take the bike along with me. The best way to think about this process is that you're using your body to initiate the motion, then recentering your bike underneath to maintain your balance. Don't feel like you need to make giant hops here either, as they'll likely throw you off more than help you out. Just use small side-to-side hops to keep your balance on both sides of the line. Play a game here and see how many times you can hop over and back on the line. Repetition will continue to help your body adjust to the movement, as you'll continue building muscle memory and efficiency with this technique. The next drill we're going to practice is called the inchworm drill. Since you already know how to hop side to side by using your body to initiate the momentum, you can just redirect your body forward instead of sideways. Just like the side-to-side hops, I want you to keep both brakes locked for this drill. Although we've been trying to stay centered on the bike for the two-wheel hop, you might also try to play around with your body position on this one, moving back and then throwing your weight forward as you hop. Start here just trying to get a little hop forward and see how many you can do in a row before you get tired. It's better to focus in on the technique than it is to try to send it on a big forward hop at this point. Technique outweighs strength on this kind of stuff anyway. As you get better and more efficient with the inchworm, you'll notice that your forward hops increase in size without any additional effort. The last drill I would suggest is making an X on the ground. Hop along one side, hop back and forth, and maybe even play with hopping your tires in different squares. This X setup is a great way to focus on wheel placement and other skills like that. You could basically have a never-ending supply of stuff to practice with a pretty simple setup. Up until this point, we've worked on the two-wheel hop basics and some movement in each direction, which gives you a huge foundation to apply the skill on a real trail. But before we do that, there's one other thing I want to share with you, and this really takes it up a notch. When we're trying to hop up difficult sections, momentum is our friend. And while it might be steep and rocky, sometimes we can get our wheels to roll forward just a little bit. Locking up your brakes will help you stay in place, but there's a little finesse that you can do with your pedal pressure to add in some extra momentum in certain cases. I'm not saying this is how you should always do it, but sometimes you can add it in and it makes things a little less tiring, especially when the terrain cooperates. So when you want to keep the bike in place, brakes are on. If you think your bike might be able to roll over some of the uphill terrain, you can mix pedal pressure and braking to create a slightly bigger movement with the bike. If you watch this video here, you can see that my wheels are slightly rolling, and it's because I'm easing off the brakes as I two-wheel hop forward. Then when I feel like I've run out of forward momentum, I lock up the brakes and do it all over again. I'm not getting a ton of power from my pedals since I'm doing a pedal scoop, but it's better than nothing to get the wheels rolling a little bit. The best thing to do now is to find a small hill and test out the techniques we've learned today. Start with your brakes on and try to hop up, and then start to ease off the brakes while you hop forward. The timing with the brakes and the pedals can be super tricky and it takes a little extra time to learn, but at least you can still get the job done with your brakes on. One fun way to practice the skill is on a mellow flight of stairs. You can hop your front wheel a step or two higher than your back wheel and then hop up the stairs. Make sure you're hopping away from your derailleur side though, just to be safe. Another benefit from learning the two-wheel hop is that you can also use it to hop sideways off small ledges. Start super small with this on curbs and stuff because you need to make sure that both wheels come off the ground at the same time. If your back wheel drops early, you're in for a world of hurt. Test this one out on something tiny and practice it a ton before you try it out on the trail. The two-wheel hop skill has bailed me out on the trail so many times, and the best thing is that it's super easy to practice anywhere. If you want to continue developing your riding skills, go check out this video here. And don't forget, practice makes progress.